Hi everyone, I am Saranya, Head and Assistant Professor of English at Theivanai Ammal College, Villupuram. Today we are going to discuss the poem Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. First we'll discuss about the poet Maya Angelou. She was born on April 4, 1928 and died on May 28, 2014. She was a memoirist, poet and civil rights activist. She was also an actress, writer, director and producer of plays and credited with a list of plays, movies and television shows spanning over 50 years. She published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry. She received dozens of awards and more than 50 honorary degrees. And the series of 7 autobiographies focuses on her childhood and early adult experiences. Her first poem, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, published in 1969, she tells of her life up to the age of 17 and it brought her international recognition and acclaim. Her books centered on the themes which include racism, identity, family and travel. Here I attach the poem Still I Rise. You can recite it. First we'll discuss the meaning of the poem title Still I Rise, which means proclamation against the society that tries to dominate the speaker's voice. The speaker or the poetic persona which represents the poet's voice. Here she represents the black community as a whole and you represents the varieties of injustices that people of color, women and all marginalized communities have dealt with as long as history has been recorded. So through this poem, the poet tries to break the shackles of domination and she raises her voice over the black people and herself that they will not be no longer mute. And here they have got the voice to proclaim their rights. So no matter how hard they try, she'll prove that the ability of the black people. And the phrase I rise, which is not about a singular uprising and it is also a collective revolutionary voice that consists of the raging uproar of a class oppressed and betrayed for a long time. In the first stanza, she starts with, you may write me down in history with your bitter twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Here the speaker tells that how the male and also the oppressor wrote the history by putting down the women and also the black people and with the twisted lies. But here with all hope the speaker is telling that like dust, she is comparing herself with the dust and how the dust will rise up as the same she will rise up. And in the second stanza the poet asks 2 questions. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Because I walk like I have got oil wells pumping in my living room. So through this stanza the speaker asks that, does my bold and cheeky attitude offend you? Why are you so miserable? So she is asking these questions to the oppressors and also the male dominant society. Maybe it is because of the confident way I walk. Here I refers the speaker as if I had oil wells right in my living room. So here she compares herself how she walks confidently and also whether she has any oil wells at her living room. Here the speaker compares herself with the moon and the sun, the rises of which are as inevitable as the rise of ocean tides. Just like high hopes, here the speaker tells that I will keep rising. In the fourth stanza, the speaker asks questions to the oppressors. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like tears drops, weakened by my soulful cries? So through these questions, she is asking to the oppressor whether they want to see the black people or the women to be sad. Next, stanza 5. Does my heartiness offend you? Don't take it awful hard, because I laugh like I have got gold mines digging in my backyard. So through this stanza, she asks whether her pride making the oppressor mad. And also she is asking that, are you so upset because I am so happy? So here she is asking to the oppressor or the white people or to the man that whether they are upset. The oppressors are upset because of their happiness and joyfulness. So and she is asking that which seems them that the black people or the women, they have gold mines on their own backyard. Next, sixth stanza. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. So here she used repetitions. You may. Here in the sixth stanza, the first 3 lines starts with you may. So it is repeated in the stanza. Through this stanza, the speaker is asking that you have the ability to shoot me with your words which are like bullets, you have the ability to cut me with your sharp glare, you may even kill me with your hatred. Nevertheless, just as the air keeps rising, I'll rise up. So with the full of hope, the speaker is conveying that however the sufferings she faces by the oppressor, she'll rise up like the air again and again. Stanza 7. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I have gold diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Here she is asking those questions to the oppressor and also the male dominants who tortured the black people and also the black women. Next, stanza 8. Out of the huts of history shame I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, willing and swelling, I bear in the tide. So through this 8th stanza, the speaker tells that I rise up out of history's shameful act of slavery. I rise up from this deeply painful past. I am as vast and full of power as a dark ocean that rises and swells and carries in the tide. So she recalls the histories and also the shame whatever they faced in their past and what are all the pains they have faced in their past, how the black ocean raising their tides as the same she rise up again. Stanza 9. At the conclusion, she starts with leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously Clear and I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. So, through the last stanza, she gives hopes to the black people and also to the enslaved people. She tells that I rise up and in doing so leave behind all the darkness of terror and fear. I rise up and in doing so enter a bright morning that is full of joy, wonder. With the personal qualities and grace I inherited from my ancestors, I embody the dreams and hopes of my past enslaved people. I will rise and rise and rise. So, full of hope, she concluded the poem, I rise, by repeating it in 3 times. Next, we'll discuss the structure and the form of the poem. The poem has 9 stanzas, which is separated into uneven sets of lines. The first 7 stanzas contains 4 lines, which is called as quatrains. The 8th stanza has 6 lines and the 9th stanza has 9 lines. The first 7 stanzas follow a rhyme scheme of A, B, C, B. The 8th stanza has A, B, C, C. And the 9th stanza has A, B, C, C, B, B, B. Next, we'll discuss the tone and the mood, how the poet used in the poem, the Still I Rise. Here, the poet used strong and determined tone throughout her writing by addressing hers and all marginalized communities, strengths, pasts and futures headed on. She has able to create a very similar mood. She wrote the poem that a reader should walk away from Still I Rise feeling inspired, joyful and rejuvenated with courage and strength. Next, we'll discuss literary devices. In this poem, Still I Rise, the poet Maya Angelou make use of several poetic techniques and different kinds of figurative languages in the poem includes anaphora, alliteration, enjambment and similes. The anaphora means a repetition of words or phrases at the beginning of multiple lines. For example, at the 6th stanza, the poet used the phrase you may. So I already mentioned this. So you may is repeated 3 times at the beginning of the lines of the 6th stanza. Next one is alliteration. Alliteration occurs at the beginning of the words. It starts with same consonant sounds or alphabetic words. For example, huts of history at the 8th stanza and gifts and gave at the 9th stanza. Simile is used in this poem. Simile is used to compare between two unlike things by using the words like and as. So, in this poem, like is used in the first 7 stanzas to compare the things. And this poem is filled with vivid imagery. The word dust means none can control her, that is the speaker. Like dust, she blind those who trod her before. Irony is used in the poem. For example, gold mines, diamonds and black ocean. So these words unfolds how powerful the speaker and her people are. Next, we'll discuss the themes. In this poem, the major poetic themes are self-empowerment, perseverance, injustice, and commonly the poet addresses her own oppressor. Symbols. The poet used many symbols in the poem. For example, dirt, oil wells, gold mines, diamonds, bowed head and lowered eyes, black ocean, night. Dirt represents how black community was treated in history. Oil wells, gold mines, diamonds, symbols which do not deal with any materialistic, rather than they hint her intellectual wealth. Bowed head and lowered eyes represents slavery. Black ocean symbolizes black people. Here the speaker mentioned, I am a black ocean. Here, I am a black ocean refers energy and immensity. And night. Here night represents fear, oppression and pessimism. Thank you.